All right. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off. Here we go. Question 1, toss-up. Among this dramatist's numerous works are The Real Inspector Hound, The Real Thing, and The Coast of Utopia. His first play is an absurdist masterpiece based on a Shakespearean tragedy. Give the playwright of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Grayson, out.
That is correct. Your bonus, question 2. Evaluate the log base 2 of 1/32. Incorrect. Captain? Set. Also incorrect. It's -5. Toss-up 3. An orchestra member with this title coordinates all of the string instruments, bowing, and
Grayson, out.
That is correct. Your bonus, 4. Disorders related to defects in this substance include Leber's neuropathy, cyclic vomiting syndrome, and MRF. A recent medical procedure for creating 3-parent children uses the substance and may prevent rare maternally inherited diseases. What type of extranuclear DNA is enclosed in the organelle responsible for cellular respiration? That's correct. Toss-up 5. This boat was the first one of its type capable of operating submerged for long periods of time. It could travel at 20 knots and was launched in 1954, sailing under the North Pole in 1958, named the first nuclear-powered submarine.
Edmonson, Jacob.
That is correct. Your bonus, 6. In 1990, more than a century after his death, this man's opera, The Trojans, was performed in Paris's newly reopened Opera House. He musically adapted numerous literary works, including Benvenuto Cellini, Romeo and Juliet, and The Damnation of Faust. Named the romantic composer of Harold in Italy, as well as a program symphony subtitled An Episode in the Life of the Artist. Incorrect. Captain? That is correct. Toss-up 7. Most of this author's works are set in European shtetls, small villages, prior to World War I. He began his career with novels like The Family Muscat and The Magician of Lublin, before moving on to short story collections such as The Spinoza of Market Street. Named the Nobel-winning author of Gimpel the Fool, who wrote all of his work in Yiddish.
Grayson, out.
Correct. Your bonus, 8. Consider the parabola with equation x equals 4y squared. What is the eccentricity of the parabola? Incorrect. Captain? Incorrect. It's 1. Toss-up 9. First and last name required. This patriot, although a business failure, was the leader of the Massachusetts Radicals. He was one of the first to decry taxation without representation and led the
Grayson, Hunter.
Incorrect. He was one of the first to decry taxation without representation and led the opposition to the Sugar Act. What member of an influential Massachusetts family helped instigate the Stamp Act riots in Boston?
Edmonson, Olivia.
That is correct. Your bonus, question 10. Examples of phenotypes that follow this pattern of inheritance include hemophilia. For traits of this type, female parents, but not males, can be carriers. In what form of genetic inheritance are genes associated with a given phenotype located on the X chromosome? That is correct. Toss-up 11. This author created Lucy Nell Crater, a deaf young woman who is abandoned by her new husband, Tom Shipflip. In another of her stories, the Bible salesman, Manly Pointer, steals Joy's pathetic leg.
Grayson, out.
Correct. Your bonus, 12. To estimate an unknown population mean, a researcher constructs a confidence interval and finds the endpoints of the interval to be 9 and 15. What is the margin of error of the researcher's confidence interval?
3.
Correct. Toss-up 13. Sometimes called Jugendstil, this art style sought to improve the quality of craftsmanship and influence the later modernism and Bauhaus movements. Also called Glasgow style, its most notable artists were Gustav Klimt and Aubrey Beardsley, while its primary architect was Antonio Gaudi. Name this early 20th century style that combined...
Grayson, Noah.
Incorrect. Name this early 20th century style that combined flowing natural forms with angular contours before giving way to Art Deco.
Edmonson, Olivia.
Correct. Your bonus, 14. He was a descendant of both Genghis Khan and Tamerlane and was a member of the Barlas tribe. After losing Samarkand, he conquered Kabul, then turned his attention to the Punjab, named the emperor who founded the Mughal dynasty of India.
Ashoka.
Incorrect.
Something with that?
Incorrect, it's Babur. Toss-up 15. In the Einstein field equations, this quantity denoted by capital lambda is multiplied by the metric tensor. It is equal to the energy density of empty space. Name this constant proposed by Einstein's theory of general relativity, which allowed for a static universe.
Grayson Alex.
Gibbs free energy.
Incorrect.
Edmonson Danny.
Space time.
Incorrect. It's the cosmological constant. Toss-up 16. This author fictionalized Philip II's construction of the Esquirrel wheel in Terra Nostra. His most famous works?
Grayson Alex.
Gogol.
Incorrect. His most famous works profile a dying Mexican revolutionary and imagine the final days of author Ambrose Bierce. Name the author of The Death of Artemio Cruz and The Old Gringo.
Edmonson Jacob.
Garcia Marquez.
Incorrect. It's Carlos Fuentes. Toss-up 17. One class of these compounds that are used to determine the presence of specific metal ions is referred to as complexometric. Examples include bromophenol, trestle red, and litmus. What chemicals mark the endpoint?
Edmonson Jacob.
That is correct. Your bonus, 18. How many complex roots does the polynomial 4x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 1 have? Incorrect. Captain?
Q.
Also incorrect. It's 4. Toss-up 19. Subsets of this swing dance include the jive and the Lindy Hop. Its accompanying jump music is in syncopated 4/4 time. Acrobatic lifts and swings characterize what 1930s and 40s ballroom style, which American GIs spread abroad.
Edmonson Olivia.
Incorrect.
Grayson Noah.
Charleston.
Incorrect. It's the jitterbug. Toss-up 20. In 1689, the emperor of this dynasty signed the Treaty of Nerchinsk with Russia. The dynasty extended its rule to include Outer Mongolia, Tibet, Turkestan, and Nepal. What dynasty ruled China from 1644 into the early 20th century?
Edmonton Danny.
Qin.
Correct. Your bonus, 21. This architect created a movable screen that resembles a bird's wings opening and closing for the Milwaukee Museum of Art. He explored skyscrapers with Scandinavia's tallest building, a residential structure nicknamed the Turning Torso. New York City's World Trade Center rail terminal is the work of what 21st century architect?
Gary.
Incorrect. Captain?
Algebra.
That is correct. Toss-up 22. Let f of x be the polynomial x to the 2016th minus x to the 1000th plus 3x minus 2. Evaluate f of 2 minus f of negative 2. That's time, it's 12. Toss-up 23. Legend says this general was taken to Spain by his father, who made him swear eternal hostility to their nation's greatest enemy. Upon the death of Hasdrubal in 221 BC, he was acclaimed commander-in-chief by the army. One Carthaginian general is remembered.
Edmonton Jacob.
M.
Correct. Your bonus, 24. One example of these is an impressive sempervirens known by the common name Hyperion. A large group of them can be found in Tulare County, California, with a skyline dominated by the General Sherman. Identify these large trees, the tallest group of plant species on Earth.
Giant sequoia.
Judge? Yes, correct. All right, that's correct. Toss-up 25. This character has a young apprentice named Manoline who doesn't accompany.
Grayson Alex.
Santiago.
That is correct. Your bonus, 26. This dramatist, once a member of Cardinal Richelieu's Society of the Five Authors, allegorized Louis XIV's reign in China, in Senna. He set several of his tragedies, including Horace, Polyeucte, in ancient Rome. Name this neoclassical dramatist who celebrated a Spanish hero's life in La Cid. Correct. Toss up 27. What is the sum of the number of vertices and the number of edges in a regular octahedron?
Edmonson McKenzie.
Incorrect.
Grayson Phoenix.
16.
Also incorrect. It's 18. Toss up 28. Polymers like rubber are often used as these by those seeking to protect against electric shock.
Grayson Alex.
Insulator.
Correct. Your bonus, 29. This architectural feature, which always sits under a slanting cornice, rests on an entablature. Its tympanum typically features relief sculptures like Athena's birth and her contest with Poseidon, which decorate the Acropolis's east and west facades. Named this triangular gable that sits above a building's portico.
Anything else? Breeze.
Incorrect, Captain. Incorrect, it's a pediment. Toss up 30. News about this event prompted Congressman Robert Goodloe Harper to proclaim millions for defense but not 1 cent for tribute. Anger over the event led to a period of undeclared war between the U.S. and France.
Grayson Noah.
XYZ affair.
Correct. Your bonus, 31. The point 70 is rotated 270 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. Find the new coordinates of the point.
-7, 0.
Incorrect. Captain?
-4, 30,
Incorrect. It's 0, -7. Toss up 32. This artist, the first American to exhibit at London's Tate Gallery, painted with the Bendé dot technique favored by engravers. His notable style, which outlined primary colors with thick black lines, developed from a painting of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse for his children, which pop artist used...
Edmonson Olivia.
No answer. Which pop artist used large-scale canvases to imitate comic strips, as in Wham?
Grayson Alex.
Roy Lichtenstein.
That's correct. Your bonus, 33. This man joined a separatist faction that immigrated to the Netherlands before coming to America. He established the franchise in the town meeting while serving as governor of New England's first permanent settlement, who published his 27-year diary as History of Plymouth Plantation.
Bradford.
Correct. Toss up 34. Structures in this organ include the loop of Henley and...
Grayson Alex.
Kidney.
Correct. Your bonus, 35. The name of this site means Old Peak, and it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. It may have been visited by the Spaniards, but its so-called discoverer is Hiram Bingham, identified as Peruvian mountain site, often called the Lost City of the Incas.
Machu Picchu.
That's correct. Toss up 36. This branch of Christianity uses the Julian calendar to calculate its holy days and considers chrismation, admitting newly baptized infants to the Lord's Supper.
Edmonson Danny.
Incorrect. This branch of Christianity uses the Julian calendar to calculate its holy days and considers chrismation, admitting newly baptized infants to the Lord's Supper, one of its 7 sacraments. It bans instruments, but uses liturgies and icons, wooden paintings of religious figures. Identify this branch, which split from Roman Catholicism in the Great Schism, and is practiced widely in Greece, the Balkans, and Russia.
Grayson Phoenix.
Eastern Orthodox.
That's correct. Your bonus, 37. Solve the following equation for x. The square root of the quantity 3x plus 5 equals 5. Correct. Toss up 38. This metrical foot appears in the line. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, a foot with 2 unstressed syllables followed by 1 stressed syllable is known
Edmonson McKenzie.
Second.
as incorrect. A foot with 2 unstressed syllables followed by 1 stressed syllable is known as what?
Grayson Noah.
Iambic.
Incorrect, it's anapestic. Toss up 39. The source of this river is the Shot, a small reservoir near Novomoskvosk. Linked to the Volga by a canal, it flows nearly 1,200 miles southward to empty into the Sea of Azov. What river in Russia, according to the title of a novel by Sholikov, flows quietly?
Grayson Alex.
Dawn.
Correct. Your bonus, 40. Synthetic forms of vanilla flavoring have been created using 2 species of these organisms. Perhaps the most notable form of this organism is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is frequently utilized by humans to convert carbohydrates into carbon dioxide. Was this type of fungus often used by bakers?
Yeast.
Correct. That's the end of the first half.
Yeah, we know.
Those are all the questions?
Yes, there were 30, 40. 40.
I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, sis. It won't.
That's sad. What happened if you hit the plus button?
We'll find out. No. Wait. I think it's down here. Yeah, I'm right. The face of adversity. Look at that face.
He's gonna hear you. He's recording it with sound.
Look at him. It was Nathan. Shut up.
You've been going with this in practice.
Yeah, I know.
I'll take the blame.
Oh, you're getting the blame. Why not you want to take it?
Really?
Really? That was all Sam.
It was all me?
Mr. Newsom.
All right. If everybody's ready, all the things I was saying, Noah, you're still the captain. Danny, you're still the captain.
He doesn't like
All right,
Nathan.
then we're going to go ahead and start the second half. Question one's a toss-up. This 1863 battle was considered a Southern victory, but General Braxton Bragg did not follow up on its success. More than one-fourth of the 120,000 men involved became casualties in only 2 days.
Edmonson, Danny.
Incorrect. More than one-fourth of the 120,000 men involved became casualties in only 2 days of fighting. Identify the September 19th to 20th, 1863 battle along a Georgia Creek 12 miles from Chattanooga.
Grayson, Noah.
South Bull, right?
That's incorrect. It's Chickamauga. Toss-up 2. Find the y-intercept of the curve y equals the natural log of the quantity 1 plus x. That's time. It's 0. Toss-up 3. The first incident of this ability among vertebrates is thought to have occurred in the pterosaurs, modern species capable.
Grayson, Noah.
White.
Correct. Your bonus 4. This comedy's supporting characters include the handmaiden Peace, Myrrhine, her husband Canisius, and Lampedo. Choruses of old men and old women battle at the Acropolis as the title character recruits Athenian and Spartan women to help end the Peloponnesian War. Give the title of this old comedy by Aristophanes.
The frogs.
Incorrect, Captain.
The quiet.
Incorrect, it's Lysistrata. Toss-up 5. This novel's protagonist enters into unhappy marriages with Logan Killicks and Joe Starks. The one-time First Lady of Eatonville, Florida, Janie settles down with T. Cake Woods, whom she shoots when he develops rabies.
Edmonton, Olivia.
That is correct. Your bonus, question 6. This dancer's reliance on spontaneous movements meant that her dances were rarely repeated. She valued expressiveness over technique, modeling many of her moves on ancient Greek sculpture. Named as developer of modern dance, who shocked 20th century society by dancing barefoot in flimsy tunics.
Caglione.
Incorrect. Captain?
Duncan.
Correct. Toss-up 7. The mean and the standard deviation of the scores on a statistics examination are 74 and 12, respectively. Calculate the z-score for an examination score of 62. That's time. It's -1. Toss-up 8. This board has 5 members and a general counsel, all appointed by the president. It was established in 1935 to enforce the Wagner Act and can seek to enforce its decision through a U.S. Court of Appeals. Identify the board that, in a quasi-judicial process, hears and resolves labor disputes. It's time. It's National Labor Relations Board. Toss-up 9. The man who likely coined the phrase describing this phenomenon was Joseph Fourier in 1824. He calculated that the temperature of the Earth should be colder than it was. Molecules that help.
Grayson Noah.
Global warming.
Incorrect. Molecules that help cause this maintained increase in temperature include ozone, methane, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. It is this phenomenon that results from the scattering of thermal energy trapped within our atmosphere.
Edmonson, Olivia.
That is correct. Your bonus, question 10. This play, which features a chorus of Oceanus' daughters, sees Io transformed into a heifer. Hephaestus, power and violence, chained the title character to a rock as punishment for stealing fire for humanity. Give the title of this Aeschylus play.
Prometheus Bound.
Correct. Toss-up 11. This film adaptation of a Thomas Harris novel earned Oscars in all 5 major categories: Best Picture, Actor, Actress, Director, and Adapted Screenplay. Serial killer Buffalo Bill makes a suit of his female victim's skin before being killed.
Grayson Noah.
Silence of the Lambs.
That is correct. Your bonus 12. This poet came under Cardinal Luigi d'Este's patronage before entering Alfonso II's service. At age 31, he finished his epic poem, An Account of the First Crusade. Who was the 16th century poet of Jerusalem Delivered?
Anything else? Roberto Tasso.
Correct. Toss-up 13. This theory dominated psychology in the first 2 decades, between World Wars I and II. One of its earliest proponents was John B. Watson, who wrote that structuralism's idea of consciousness was simply a synonym for the soul. Watt's psychological theory maintains that organisms react to external stimuli.
Grayson Alex.
Reactionism.
Incorrect.
Edmonson Jacob.
Incorrect. It's behaviorism. Toss-up 14. The majority of neurons are permanently arrested in this phase of cell division. This phase of mitosis is subdivided into G1, G2, and S phases.
Edmonson Jacob.
Correct. Your bonus, question 15. Calculate the limit as x approaches infinity of the quantity, the square root of x, closed quantity, divided by the quantity, x plus 1, closed quantity.
0.
Correct. Toss-up 16. Consider the region bounded by the x-axis and the graph of the equation y equals 4 minus x squared. As a fraction and in square units, calculate the area of the region. That's time. It's 32/3. Toss-up 17. This type of subordinate clause appears in the sentence, we're going to the restaurant that has the best reviews. Name this kind of clause which begins with a relative pronoun.
Edmonson Jacob.
Incorrect. That's time. It's adjective clause. Toss-up 18. This diplomatic protection comes in 3 forms. Territorial.
Grayson Alex.
Diplomatic immunity.
Incorrect. This diplomatic protection comes in 3 forms: territorial, neutral, and extraterritorial. The latter can be granted by an embassy, a consulate, a warship, or a merchant vessel. In what kind of action does one nation provide protection to a foreigner against his or her own country?
Edmonson Jacob.
Incorrect. Correct answer is asylum. Toss-up 19. The name of one of these elements is placed in brackets as part of the abbreviated form of writing electron configurations.
Grayson Phoenix.
Noble gas.
Correct. Your bonus, 20. This god helped his brothers Vili and V kill the frost giant Ymir, whose body they divided to make the earth, sea, and sky. He fathered the Aesir gods, including Heimdall, Balder, and Loki. Named his husband of Frigg, who ruled both heaven and earth in Norse mythology. Correct. Toss-up 21. This economist believed that it was useless to try to improve the real earnings of workers. His first
Grayson Alex.
Ricardo.
Correct. Your bonus, 22. The The long leg of a 30, 60, 90 triangle has a length of 2 units. In units, what is the exact length of the hypotenuse of the triangle?
Or ask the field.
Incorrect. Captain?
4 radical 3.
Also incorrect. It's 4 radical 3 over 3. Toss up 23. This work, found in book 6 of an epic, teaches about karma, bhakti, and nirvana. Krishna assumes his true form, a fiery gaping mouth, before...
Grayson Noah.
Bhagavad Gita.
Correct. Your bonus, 24. These elementary particles can be split into the scalar variety with a spin of 0 and the gauge variety which mediate forces. These particles, the W type of which mediates the weak force, do not obey the Pauli exclusion principle. Give the class of elementary particles with integer spin, contrast it with fermions, another example of which is the mass-defining Higgs.
Boson.
Correct. Toss up 25. This kind of paint resembles poster paint in both quality and appearance. It lies on top of paper to produce a continuous coating that directly reflects brilliance. What type of paint is formed when gum or an opaque white pigment...
Edmonton Olivia.
Incorrect. What type of paint is formed when gum or an opaque white pigment is combined with watercolor?
Grayson Alex.
Tempera.
Incorrect. It's gouache. Toss up 26. This writer collected his stories in Adventures in the Skin Trade and Portraits of the Artist as a Young Dog. He fictionalized the fishing village.
Grayson Alex.
Dylan Thomas.
That is correct. Your bonus, 27. This storm was classified as a Category 2 hurricane when it passed over Jamaica and Cuba before being reclassified as Category 1. It was downgraded to a tropical storm when it hit the Bahamas, then upgraded to Category 1 again before it hit the U.S. What hurricane caused some $50 billion worth of damage in New York and New Jersey in October 2012?
Hurricane Sandy.
Correct.
Time out, please.
Who wants it?
I'll
Time out.
take it. I'll take it.
I'll take it. All right. Edmonton.
All three.
Yes. All 3. Oh, yay.
Is that still recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, I just. Stephanie's backpack that weighs 5 million pounds. Mine weighs more.
Somewhere. We'll find it. It's right there. You're right.
I was getting some of those notes.
All right. Hey, guys, who's your captain?
Okay.
Hmm?
You should have been here in the first game to support the team. It was good. Yeah, but the first one was so much better. Here in about, well, as soon as this game ends, maybe 10 minutes after that. And this game has maybe 3 minutes left. Yeah.
What time should I tell my ride to be here?
Oh, okay.
Should I tell my ride to be here in 30 minutes?
No, because we gotta help set up, so 45 minutes.
Okay, I'll text him in like 15 minutes. Then. So how many questions are left?
12, no, 13.
Edmonton John Michael. Edmonton Presley. Edmonton Quinn. Edmonton Tyler.
Somebody.
Grayson Nathan. Grayson Alex. Grayson Cecily. Grayson Seth.
Awesome. All right. 28's a toss-up. The volume of a right circular cylinder is 160 pi cubic units, and the height of the cylinder is 10 units. Calculate the diameter of the cylinder's base in units.
Edmonton Tyler.
40. Incorrect.
Grayson Alex.
That's correct. Your bonus, 29. These species belong to the family Poaceae and are notable for their columnar growth. A recent shortage in this crop in the Sichuan province has been caused by its lengthy blooming process. What is this type of plant which makes up the primary diet of the giant panda?
Bamboo.
Correct. Toss-up 30. This musical era, a subset of 19th century Romanticism, drew inspiration from folk music, history, and legends. Notable composers in the style included Defaya, Dvorak, Mussorgsky, and Sibelius. Composers in what style produced works evocative of their homelands? That's time, it's nationalism. Toss-up 31. This painter's work was exhibited in the U.S. and Europe through the influence of Marcel Duchamp and André Breton. Spinal surgery inspired the painting The Broken Column, while...
Grayson Alex. Rita Collins.
That is correct. Your bonus, 32. This writer depicted the evils of serfdom in his first novel, A Sportsman's Sketches. Bazarov espouses nihilism rather than his family's conservatism in his most famous novel. Give the author of Fathers and Sons.
Turgenev.
Correct. Toss-up 33. The first and second terms of a geometric sequence are 5 and 20/3. Find the sum of the geometric series. That's time, it's infinity. Toss-up 34. This Supreme Court case provided the title for a 1989 novel by Tom Clancy. The case involved the prosecution of a socialist who had handed out leaflets against U.S. involvement in World War I.
Grayson Nathan.
Formatting versus the United States.
That is incorrect. In what case did the court rule that the freedoms of speech and press could be restricted if they constituted a clear and present danger?
Edmonson Presley.
Incorrect. It's Schenck v. U.S. Toss-up 35. This compound is produced using a vanadium oxide catalyst in the contact process, which replaced the lead chamber process. Formerly referred to as oil of vitriol, fuming varieties of this acid are called oleum. Name the strong polyprotic acid found in car batteries and acid rain.
Grayson Alex.
Correct. Your bonus, question 36. This law does not hold true for minerals such as woostite, which has an iron to oxygen ratio varying between 0.83 and 0.95. This law is sometimes also known as Proust's law. Identify this basic law in chemistry that states that for a chemical compound, the mass ratio between elements is fixed.
Graham's law.
Incorrect, Captain?
Planck's law.
Incorrect. It's the law of definite proportion. Toss-up 37. This system replaced the cash and carry system used by Britain and the U.S. before 1941. Under it, the president could accept payment in kind or property as he deemed fit. What system allowed Britain to continue to purchase war materials from the U.S. despite a lack of cash?
Edmonson Presley.
That's correct. Your bonus, question 38. Evaluate the cosine of 5 pi over 4.
Radical 2 over 2.
That is correct. Toss-up 39. This writer imagined a series of dialogues with St. Augustine in My Secret and detailed the Second Punic War in his epic Africa. He titled his series of biographies Illustrious Men and invented the sonnet form consisting of an octave and a sestet, who, in scattered rhymes, proclaimed his unrequited love for Laura.
Grayson Alex.
Correct. And your bonus, the last question. This philosopher divided world history into 4 3,000-year periods that included creation, evil corruption of it, and the birth of religion. He thought that humanity must embrace the light provided by Ahura Mazda and reject the darkness symbolized by Ahriman. Identify the Persian founder of the world's oldest monotheistic religion.
Zoroaster.
That's correct.